Right now, across every moment of your waking life, a subtle conflict is playing out entirely inside your own mind. Most of humanity will live and die without ever realizing they are participants. But walking through life unaware of this hidden contest has a steep cost. It slowly evaporates your creative potential, leaving you exhausted and disconnected from what you actually want to achieve. You already know the symptoms. Think back to a moment where you were on the verge of a breakthrough. You felt a flash of inspiration, a surge of total clarity, and then, seemingly out of nowhere, a suffocating wave of anxiety washed over you. A sudden, heavy self-doubt crept in, perfectly timed to ruin your momentum. We are taught to accept these sudden emotional crashes as simple human nature. We write them off as random brain chemistry or personal flaws. But when you observe these patterns closely across thousands of timelines, a different reality emerges. These perfectly timed waves of doubt are highly calculated, targeted interventions delivered by an unseen opponent. Your mind is being treated as the ultimate strategic chessboard. When you are distracted, when you are pulled into a sudden crisis, or when you feel a compelling urge to retreat back into familiar routines, you are witnessing a deliberate move. The goal is precise: to keep you asleep to your own capabilities. If the daily fears and sudden insecurities holding you back are orchestrated attacks rather than personal failures, the solution becomes clear. We have to learn the actual rules of the board. Because once you understand how the opponent plays, you stop being a pawn in their game, and you take your power back. To understand the rules, we have to look at the physics of the board itself. Every atom, every force field, and every thought vibrates at a precise rate. Reality is a frequency construct. And in the wider ecosystem of the universe, the emotional output generated by your consciousness is tangible, usable energy. This diagram illustrates exactly how that energy behaves. When a conscious being generates fear, shame, or despair, they produce a very heavy, condensed waveform. In the non-physical dimensions, this low-frequency energy is incredibly potent and highly valuable. There are highly sophisticated entities existing just above our physical reality, often called the architects of forgetting, who rely on that dense energy. They treat human emotional output the way a lion treats a gazelle. To them, our fear is the foundation of a vast interstellar food chain. To maintain their food supply, the architects deploy a three-pronged strategy. They manipulate broad social structures to reinforce the belief that you are small and powerless. They steer collective human timelines toward conflict and survival mode. And crucially, they inject specific, targeted bots into your subconscious mind exactly when you are most vulnerable. That sudden, harsh voice in your head whispering that you will fail, or the unexplained panic right before you take a risk, those are often externally planted signals. They feel like your own thoughts because they arrive through your neural circuitry, but their origin is off-board. They are designed to trigger a reaction. Your deepest psychological wounds and those random spikes of panic are not organic flaws in your character. They are the mechanisms of a highly efficient, artificially manufactured food source sustaining a hidden ecosystem. But the architects do not own the board. There is an opposing alliance, the Signal Corps. These are older, vaster intelligences, ranging from non-physical collectives to human volunteers, constantly broadcasting a specific high-frequency vibration designed to wake you up. While the architects rely on manipulation, the Signal Corps operates through expansion. They use perfectly timed synchronicities that take your breath away. They deliver flashes of profound beauty, sudden intuitive clarity, and place the exact right book or person in your path, exactly when you are ready for them. This split-screen model shows the opposing tactics in action. On the left, the architects force psychological contraction, pulling your awareness inward and downward into fight-or-flight survival mode. On the right, the Signal Corps pushes for radical expansion, lifting your perception into states of awe, gratitude, and creative flow. The Signal Corps weaves their broadcast into the very fabric of nature itself. It's encoded in the mathematics of sacred geometry, the rhythm of your heartbeat, and the sunlight hitting your face. It is a constant, gentle nudge, reminding the human mind of its true capacity. Every sudden emotional swing you feel, Every unexplained crash into despair, and every soaring burst of inspiration is the direct result of these two vast forces fighting for control over the frequency you hold. There is one absolute rule that binds both sides of this conflict: free will. The architects can suggest, manipulate, and create chaotic conditions. The signal core can inspire, synchronize, and broadcast light, but neither force can override your sovereign choice. A trap only works when it is invisible. The moment you recognize a sudden wave of anxiety, not as a personal failure, but as a deliberate move on the board, the game changes. Simply seeing the mechanism instantly strips the architects of their power over you. Look at this model showing a single bright dot establishing an unjammable sphere. This is your ultimate countermove. By consciously choosing to hold a high frequency of joy, certainty, and awareness, even under pressure, you become what the signal core calls a stabilized node. Holding that frequency has a mechanical result. The architects can only operate within a specific, low-altitude band of fear and shame. By raising your baseline above that altitude, you render yourself functionally invisible to their scanning systems. Their hooks find no purchase, and their signals instantly dissolve. Because the impulse to awaken is as fundamental to consciousness as gravity is to matter, every person who stabilizes their node effectively removes a power source from the architect's grid. As millions begin to see through the game, the system loses its primary fuel. The current escalation of global conflict and constant distraction are the strategic responses of a force losing its grip on the collective. You are not a helpless victim tossed around by a chaotic world. You are a sovereign creator. By observing the board and changing your internal broadcast, you simply opt out of the opponent's game entirely. The fact that you recognize these signals while others remain asleep suggests your presence here isn't an accident. You carried an indestructible core of your true self through the deepest layers of the forgetting, a core that was designed to be active now. You are an operative who chose to incarnate behind enemy lines specifically to hold a frequency that triggers others to stir. This means treating your daily life differently. When a frustration arises or someone triggers an old wound, treat it as a training exercise. It is an opportunity to prove to yourself and to the wider universe that your frequency is stable and unshakable. Operatives seek to lock in this frequency permanently and amplify their signal by gathering with other awakened nodes. When multiple nodes align, their collective signal creates a geometric cascade, accelerating the remembering of everyone within their radius. We are bringing those nodes together right now. Join the Reality Revolution community to take your process to the next level. And if you are ready to master quantum jumping and activate the new Earth, secure your tickets for our upcoming 4-day Maui Timeline Shift event, happening May 14th through the 17th at the Maui Westin. The board is fully set. The game is accelerating. Your internal frequency is the only weapon that actually matters. What move will you make to elevate your timeline?